This is day 672 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor a coming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please send me directly. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman Tuf Hay, Seek Dolitude Base. Dalit. V'arev is cost of the Sham. The Zemike onus level k'tas kuzat chum. Going a little bit over the line of chum is the onus. And you can really choose then which way to take it for Amos and go back to the Tchum. The one who told you can't go back is when you already chose for Amos, Shalalon, going in the wrong direction. It's a parish that goes my many. The Basmai says something similar. He can't come back to be like Kilu. Sorry, he couldn't come back Kilu. So if he didn't leave the Tchum at all, Avodah Amos goes Vivav. But he has promise around Mutal, he comes to Tokum Arishon Adar Mosa. He can enter into the first Chum until it's 4 Amos. What does that mean? And then he done or so Kaloy at Chum. I don't look at him as if he didn't go live the Chum whatsoever. Elavadai, Elavadai, who the Chum is only outside the Chum. Eliesh Arba Amos, but he has 4 Amos. He can choose whichever direction he wants. He bear Bemis at Tzad he chose the direction to go back to his initial Chum. Yech Arba Amos, you should go to Arba Amos, you should go to this 4 Amos which has been allocated. And then of course you can go to the entire Chum. Mishnah Berurah says the Mechaz Pasuk only has 4 Amos, according to the Ramah, there's 4 Amos on each side, so therefore he even if he chose 4 Amos from one of the sides, he can still go to the other direction as well. Okay. Somebody who Shabbos began when he's outside the Tchum, I feel even 1 am outside. Can't come in to be like the people in the city. Moshe's bar was Siman Tuf, like we're going to learn Siman Tuf. He can only go 2,000 amos, 12 sides from the place where Shabbos began for him. In this case, obviously, he doesn't get an extra 4 amos. Because he acquired the Shvisa in the place where he was, as everybody else does when they're in that place in Shabbos again. So if he has one leg in and one leg out, have a kahum as if he never left the tchum. They link this to the pasuk. Pasuk it says here in the brackets which pasuk Yishaya Nun Chesed Gimel Itashi Mishabas Raglecha, single leg, even the one leg is in the tchum. Good enough. Mishnah says again, according to the Shir, that we said that he says he had 4 amos outside the tchum. So if he the specific din would be if he was compelled to leave, and there was still his one leg within the down amos past the 2,000 amos of the tchum. So that's he can still go back. Somebody was compelled to leave the tchum. Love amazing, go deliberately. El Shatoy made a mistake, compels the wrong term. He did unintentionally, sorry. And made a mistake, Oshoy Baal Machshava, or he was daydreaming, distracted. Mishnah Berurah says, also for his bar mitzvah, he went outside. You're allowed to make for him a wall of people. If you have a wall of people surrounding you, that's a wall. So if people are made an Erev in that direction, so they can go to where he is. If he was surrounded with mechitza like a wall, then then there's an advantage. If they can make a large enough wall that some of them are standing inside the 2,000 amos of the tchum of the city, then he can go back. Sharei is bar because become clear Shayotzi Chutz Tchum. Somebody goes outside Tchum, but honest and then he comes into walls. Yochel Lelechas Kul, he can go throughout the walls. I feel Gedola Harbe, even it's very, very large. So Yosem Rabbaim more than 2,000 amos. They Kelo Bezem Mimnesh Ein Lo Rak Arba Amos. In this case, because he only has 4 amos, and he can get it's pretty uncomfortable because I'm assuming tough Gimel and jump. The Mishnah Berurah says according to that which. Again, consistent this, the mechitza people does not reach mamash into the 2,000 amatchum, but even into 2,000 plus 4 area. Now here's the catch in this halacha. The people who are part of making up this wall must not know that they're making up a wall. Time over Zeb B'Yam B'Sin Shin Sang Beis Ayin Shom. We will explain this. Zeb B'Ya B'Ayin B'Tziyat Z'Moinus. That's what went down with Oines, not quite honest, but the way which he was not deliberate. I mean, you also ask when deliberately. Also, is forbidden to they can't use the human wall. Even if they put him inside that wall, since he went out deliberately, he can't walk more than 4 amos. Because he wasn't in the airspace of mechitzos from before Shabbos. The airspace of this mechitzos from before Shabbos began. Not 100% sure that what the difference is seems somewhat arbitrary, but that's the difference. Zayin. Zeh she'el tichut zchum ela arba amos. The guy leaves the chum only has 4 amos. Ein chiluk ben yotza das or shlo das. Let's make a difference whether he went intentionally or unintentionally. Feel to at least even if bandits talk about it. Oh, I love ruach ra. Or he became temporarily insane. Ein lo arba amos. He only has 4 amos. Kashin of Mishnah Reish Be'Gdal. Chaim yotza de sharos. He went out because he was compelled to b'shlegeg or because he forgot it was Shabbos or something. Then he brought back into the chum. It's as if he never left. He put it into the city. The entire sefer is like 4 amos. He has 2,000 amos outside in each direction. This is specifically where he went left because he's compelled because they also came back because he was compelled. And he went out deliberately. Came back because he was compelled to do so. Yotzim honors because of that, so he went out was compelled to do. When he went out, was compelled, but he came back deliberately. Anyway, Arba Amos. No gets for Amos, no loopholes there. Hey, no, it's Ches, sorry. Nom. However, Yotzim das v'chzur honestly Rosh Hashanah Shom. He went out deliberately, and they brought him. They compelled him to come back to the city where he initially was beginning of Shabbos. And surrounded by walls and enclosed the purpose of habitation. Meaning that first it was settled and then the wall was put around. The entire city is like 4 amos for him. But out from beyond the city, also he's not allowed to go after Hamachas. In the city it's mutter because he was in the airspace of the mechitzos from before Shabbos began. And in this case, even he went out intentionally and came back intentionally. You can't forbid him to go around the city where his initial shvisa was when Shabbos began. But outside the city, it's also for him to go. Once he was brought back, the tchumo he lost his tchum. So that's when one of the legs, either out or in, was intentional. The halacha says that the base mayor is not sure about this. Perhaps you don't need hekev mechitzos around the wall in order to have the entire around the city, in order to have the entire city. And certainly, if you were brought back to the city where you began Shabbos, it's not necessarily machmir, and you don't have to have that wall, which is a big cooler. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. He was compelled to leave and compelled to come back. Even he brought him back to the to the city where he did not begin Shabbos. The entire new city is 4 amos. And Tchum was restored to him as it would previously be. I guess he's going to walk the entire city where he now is found, and then also he has. If he ever gets back to his own city somehow, if he can't get back to his own city, because in 2,000 amos in the city, he has the original tomb as well. Even though he wasn't in the airspace of these walls from before Shabbos, came to notice since he was compelled in going and coming. They made this entire new city like for Amos. They should because they were lenient for him in this test. Also, bandits took him out outside his tchum and Badir. They put him in a corral, or a pen, or a pen, or b'mara, or a cave, or in a city which is surrounded with a wall and was enclosed with purpose habitation. I feel like even they're beyond the original tchum. All these things are like 4 amos. Now for him, Ma'askul can walk through the entirety. But if he left the tchum deliberately, then he went into one of these structures. He doesn't have the entire structure. He has 4 amos in them. But the school can't go throughout the entire structure when it's beyond his initial 2,000 amos. But if he was compelled to leave, he's permitted that that all the structures could 4 amos for him. Not when he went out deliberately. If they brought him into the Ibor of the city, the 72 amos around the city, when it says Karba Amos, that does not become like 4 amos. Because it's really, so as I said, even though it was in the Ibor. But I feel bonus, even was all this was compelled. The Arukh HaShulchan here, only in terms of measuring tchum, is the Ibor of the city like the city. Velo says Karba Amos, not for the purpose of him making it all his 4 amos. He and Emukafis cloud because the Ibor is not enclosed at all. Magabram brings down the Mishabur says Magabram brings down the Riyaz that no, the Ibor of the city is also considered like a city. And so obviously we're out in the Mechaber and would not require a wall at all. Nevertheless, it's typically a make against the Shulchan Aruch, most of us can hold like him. Nevertheless, the Shas Chak, perhaps you can lie and on the including the Ibor, including any similar area, even though they're not enclosed by walls. It's the Rabbanim. But that was only Rambam is the name of the Riaz. That if even they put him into the Ibor of a city, that is the entire city is considered like 4 amos. That's a Kuli Yasera. I guess it's not a Shas Chak. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. Yod Kas Rabbeinu Beis Yosef. Steve Zion, Beis Yosef writes, Mishif Liga, somebody whose ship left out to sea. Maros Kuli can walk through the entire ship. However, Shabbos and Merchitzo, since his shvis was in the walls of the ship. If the walls of the boat become lowered on Shabbos, so he doesn't drown. If it's still moving, he can walk throughout the entirety. If it's not moving, it's going to go 4 amos in it. Sound Kalashona. End quote from the Beis Yosef. The Rambam lo iskir Chaldeans. The Rambam doesn't mention this. Halacha came in the end because he holds there's no tchum above 10. But Torah, he's scared to himself. He should sim according to Yeshchum. He blows one basket. There is tchum above 10. But the Beis Yosef so baskets. There's no tchum above 10. But it's allowed Kala that he doesn't have to have this thing, this halacha at all. The Lamak, right. Specifically, why when it stands, why could you only go 4 amos? He's transcends the Kum anyway. I come Rasu, but this is what he would say. She nicholas my Reb Shabbos, when it came to Reb Shabbos, Avshal come on me and Pachas me Asora, even though sometimes it was less than 10 Fachim off the ground, or he went out twice to the seashore before the boat actually left. Then once he's outside, it goes above 10 in the water. He's out. It has and he wasn't compelled to do so. Because so if the walls are intact, he goes throughout the entire ship. Became a Shabbos because that was where he would become the shvisa from before Shabbos began. And if he goes to another boat or an enclosed area, he only gets 4 amos in that other location. When the walls of the boat have collapsed when it's standing still, it's like anybody left the tchum, he only has 4 amos. In movement, he can walk through the entirety. Every time the boat jerks forward, it's more than 4 amos. That's the boat which is taking him from the 4 amos, which he is to the next 4 amos, because that's the boat is always moving, and we look at him as if moving with the boat, not as if he's stationary. That's also Allah by Ozark. The Graken says here, Gemara Membase on base. I would say Merhel was Finas on the class, since the ship is moving him. Ayin Sham, Avram, Gadol Baduk. Then Avram says, not so good. The Shabbat says that according to what has been saying previously, if the ship sailed without his intent and brought him into a city surrounded with walls in which he did not begin Shabbos, or the non-Jew put him into another boat which did not begin Shabbos on, and he can also go in its entirety since the initial exit was bonus. So as long as it's in Avir Mechitzos, in the airspace of walls, and didn't collapse. Rav Kasar Ben Ramah, Ramah writes, "In the middle of the boat, there are mechitzas 10, even though the front or back there aren't. I'm telling you, follow the middle. I feel ain't boat cloud rock yesh lacho kasar, even though it doesn't have 10 fucking walls, but you could dig down into the boat and make a 10 tefach high wall. Amir Chokim Hash, we say that we look at it as if you dig you dug that up and made 10. This is talking about when again the walls of the boat have collapsed. Um, yeah, so the top of the boat or the bottom of the boat, where it's not then fachim, it's sidei rishus it's chorei rishus yachid vis-a-vis the area in the middle of the boat, which is 10 fachim. Rina shalote parts move. There shouldn't be nevertheless more open space and structure. Shalote appears the same amos and no appears to be more than 10 amos. Now it says, however, that we look at it as if we had carved into the boat and made a 10 tefach hole. That's difficult. The more down a kind of low mean in terms of the we don't hold cooking lashling. Much custom to see Shin May. The lady before came with Shabbos. It's Shabbos. Meir says if you have an arch, you look at it as if it's squared off, and Rabban argue. Rabban Samecho came about Rabban. Yes, that he didn't chakika kabama. So it says this is a different type of chakika. El Dagbrush. It means is the tachas karka svina. If underneath the deck of the ship, Shomnim Olam, which is standing, Yesh Chalol, there is a space. That space inside the boat joins up Latfanos and Shnivasu with the walls on the deck of the boat, even though less than 10 fachim. Lashim Aleim, in order to be mashlim, the 10. Ki'ilu Heim Atzomas Farfachim, as if they themselves, the walls are 10 fachim. It's not really. It's which just means that we're mitzvah if the walls below and the walls above. Mishnah says that even though we hold the enkel kim lahashlim, here it could be different because it's like that which we say that a mound of 5 and a mechitza of 5 are mitzvah to the shear of 10, which is basically what the Arukh HaShulchan is saying. We're not actually drilling, but we're looking at the two walls above and below deck as joining together. You base okas abasiv hey words further right further. Chen im nichnas sfina yatsa sfina. Chutz tchum, you go into the boat, and the boat leaves the tchum. Chasa chorea lunamol. Shivli b'sham, then it goes back to port from which it took sail. Hareu kilu, that's as if it never left. Havale kilu otil listim kizura. It's like bandits took it out and brought it back. Ankal sham. Klomar meaning kagon shasvina omda al chutz. Nichas Shabbos, such as when the boat stood outside at the depth of more than 10 fachim, then it came back. Lei sheba, the lowest shoot. And the Shabbos, no, I got that wrong. Klomar kagon shasvina omda al chutz. The boat is standing there, and you went on Shabbos into it. Lola shoot, you didn't go into to sail, which would be us on Shabbos. The respect you came there beheter. About Sfina shot, the owner of the boat decided to go sailing. Chutz tchum outside tchum makom shein am bakasar. The place is not 10 feet deep because I came back. So it's like anybody else who's been compelled to leave and brought back. Kamash is coming to tell us, even though he went to the boat on his own volition, nevertheless, came Shilchus Alicia, but since the reason he went in was to sit there, to have a head to Gomer, which is completely permitted. So, Ka'anos, he's like an Anos, and therefore he can come back. Brackets it says here, okay, whatever that's. He's talking about where the wall, the before Shabbos began, it was also less than 10 blocking from the ground, from the river or seashore. and it was kind of shvi, so and then it went back out on Shabbos and came back. Okay, just complicate the case further. That complicated thing. Not just ignore it.